Hello everyone. In this video, I want to get into a question that was asked in the comments of another video here, and that's whether you can do reoccurring tasks with the TickTick integration between Notion. So the TickTick and Notion integration does allow you to have reoccurring tasks over on the TickTick side, and it does actually work with Notion, and we're going to go ahead and get into how that actually works, and you can see what happens when you set up reoccurring tasks over on the TickTick side and what happens over in Notion when you do this. So we already have the integration set up here between Notion and TickTick, so I won't go through that. If you want to see that, go to the previous video that I did for this integration and you'll get the deep dive into that. But in here, all I want to do is create the different tasks, and let's probably do it. We're going to start off from the Notion side and create these tasks. So we'll do two different tasks. We'll do a task 1 and we will do a task 2, and then we're going to set those up, and we're not going to give them a date over here or a status or anything. Let's just assume we outlined our project, or whatever the task list was over in Notion, and then we're going to actually schedule everything as far as when these things get done over in TickTick. So if we go over in the TickTick, you may have to actually do a manual sync if it hasn't synced over yet. So we'll go ahead and do a sync and see if those will go ahead and populate here fairly quickly. If it doesn't sync with the big sync, we'll sync with Notion here. And now they're in there. And now that we have these tasks from Notion over in TickTick, let's go ahead and assign a date to them. So for number 1 or task 1, we're just going to go ahead and put today's date, and we're just going to leave it the way it is. And for task 2, we're going to make this a reoccurring task. So let's put it for today, and then we will, down at the bottom here, we will select repeat, and then you'll just pick however you want this to repeat. And what's good, you have also a custom option here. So if you've done repeating tasks over in TickTick before, you have all the same options. So I'm going to go ahead and just put daily in here so we can get a good look at how this works when you complete the task. Okay, so I have the dates scheduled on these here, and let's confirm that these are synced over to the Notion side. And we can see them over here. It is synced over here. And if we were to say just click into this task here, the only thing that we get on the Notion side is the actual date. So you don't know that this is a repeating task at all. Now, one other thing too, when we're over in the TickTick side, let's put content into this here, and let's put project, and we'll just put 2 in here, and then we'll put a comment in here as well, comment 2. And this is, I'm doing this for a reason, because when we set up this repeating task or recurring task, first is how it behaves over on the TickTick side, and then how it behaves over in the Notion side. So we have this information here. You're not going to get comments syncing over to the Notion side, but you will get the description that will sync. So if we go ahead, and I'm just going to make sure it's synced over. Let's go ahead and check. And yes, we can see here project 2 in the description for task 2. Now what I want to do is go ahead and mark this complete, and we can do this from over here in Notion. So we'll just go ahead and mark this as done, which is the action for completing this task over in TickTick. We'll go ahead and mark that, and when this syncs, what we will see here is how the reoccurring task works. Now I set this up to have a reoccurring task or a repeat task every day, and now that this day is done, we should see a new task come in here, and we're probably going to have to force a sync here because we're trying to get this to happen in real time. Let me go over into Notion. I will hit sync over here. And we'll give it a second here to see if it syncs real quick. Not yet. And we'll come here and we'll, and before I could even click there, it synced in. So now you can see what happens here on the TickTick side. It completes the task. This was the one for today. And if we go over into the Notion side, we'll see what happens. And this looks a little strange because now I have two tasks that shows, and actually it looks like it's repeating here. It's on a repeat. Let me refresh just to make sure we see what's happening here. But yeah, we can see that the integration is actually repeating this task, and this is definitely not what we want to happen here. This is the first time this has actually done this, so I haven't seen this behavior before, and this is a little odd. Let's go to the Notion side, and we can see here it's continually just creating these. And if we come into Notion, let's do a refresh here. Yeah, there's something wrong with that particular integration, it seems. Let's do a refresh. Because what should happen here is, now that this is complete, that new task that gets created here should sync over. This is still showing for tomorrow, and it's fairly odd that this is showing that it's trying to continue to sync here. I'm going to delete this, or yeah, let's mark this one as complete and see what happens here. So we have the one for tomorrow. It is done, and we still have some here for today. Created multiple ones here for whatever reason, and it has not created another task here. So let's go ahead and sync this, and let's see what actually happens on the Notion side. Alright, so now I'm on the Notion side, and we can see that what it's done is, this is the behavior that you actually want. So I'm not sure if the issue came in because we marked it done here on the Notion side, and then it synced over, and somehow this created some kind of loop that created all of these different tasks here for the same task, which is pretty odd, or something else outside of there. But to show you how it should work, when we completed the task over in TickTick, you can see it created a new task in here, and it put the default status in the status section or property for this task. So this is what should happen. Now the description carried over. We can see this one's complete and that one's complete. Let's go ahead and do it again from the TickTick side. We will mark this one off. Alright, so now we have the March 21st through the 26th, and even these dates look a little off here. We're through the 20. I put one for today. Yeah, these dates look like they're a little bit off the way they're set up here. These should be a single day, but these are showing multi-day event here. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like over in Notion again, and we can see, okay, I've marked the one task as complete over in TickTick again, and it created a new one for this particular date. And we can see it's copying over the project description information there. Now, one thing I want to do here is I want to open this up, and let's put some information in here, because this particular face or body of this particular task is not something that is syncing over to TickTick. So let's see what happens when we put content over in here in the page, and then we go ahead and we mark this as done. So I'm going to put that there, and let's sync it over And then I'm going to mark it done from the TickTick side. So I'm going to mark that done. Now we have a new one for the 23rd. Let's go ahead back here. All right, so it completed the 22nd one. And if I open that up, we can see that there's actually no content in here. And that is because what I've seen is the behavior is, let's go into this new task that it created, is that it moves that content in that page forward so that the new task has that information in it. So this is something to be aware of if you're creating a repeating or reoccurring type of task with this integration, that anything you put into the page for this task is going to get moved from the previous task and into the more current task that was created. Now I want to see kind of what's going on here and try something one more time, because I did actually get a message in my mobile app about if you delete tasks over on the Notion side, that there is an issue with syncing those deleted tasks over into TickTick. So I want to go here and I am going to delete these tasks. Go ahead and delete those. And I also want to check, let me check the date in here. So it is a single date format. It's weird that when that task 2, when I completed it, that it changed the actual formatting here. So let's go over into TickTick and let's see what we have. We'll go ahead and sync, and we see these tasks are still here. Let's actually go ahead and create a task 3. And now that we have a task 3, we can see that it actually synced already just because we see this Notion piece that is here. Let's go ahead and give it a date. We will say this one's for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and set it up to repeat every day. And it never ends. So we're going to set that up. Over here, it just shows the date. And if we go into Notion, let's go ahead and sync it. Go into Notion, we have task 3, and the date actually shows up the way it should show up here. So not sure what happened with that that date formatting that we saw previously. Let's do one more, and let's do it from the Notion side. Task 4. Come in here, let's set a date. Let's put the 26th, and let's see what happens here. We'll go to TickTick, and let's go ahead and force that sync. And we can see all those other tasks that we had that we deleted did not get deleted from this side. Even the task 2 is still showing up on this side here. So I think there are some issues, and there's some known issues with that, because as I mentioned, I did get a message on my phone about this particular integration, and then deleted tasks that are in Notion not syncing back to TickTick. Okay, so we do have that task 4 that came over, and right now it shows going to go on the 26th, which is what we set before. It's not repeating. If I go ahead and change this to repeating, let's see what will happen on this one. You see network connection failed. This seems a little bit odd. I am on the network. Network works fine. This could be a issue between the integration again. So there could be some bugs here that's happening with this integration, and I think it's probably more so on the Notion side of things. So let's go back to Notion. You can see that the task is still there. I am going to mark this one as complete. And we're doing this in such a short time. I'm constantly syncing back and forth. So the integration and the connection and the moving information back and forth within such a short time could be an issue with the API and any rate limits that might be happening here. So it did come over. You can see that task 4 did show complete there, and then it created a new one. The date format looks fine, so I'm not too sure what that issue was we were seeing previously. But everything seems to be working as it should be, except for deleting tasks from Notion and then having that sync into TickTick. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, have a nice day.